are here today with Dayne Hoskins from BOSA. So we are super excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, we saw you in the MRO in Amsterdam and had a chat there, and then here we are.
Yeah, exactly. So you and I, like normally, the podcast guests, I really already know them quite well. Whereas with yourself, we've met maybe a couple of times, but it's great to have you here and to learn a bit more about BOSA and what they do and a little bit more about yourself. So thank you so much for taking the time to come in. So Dayne, tell me about BOSA and what you guys are up to.
Okay, so BOSA is a Part 145 maintenance organisation with accreditations from EASA, UKCAA, and multiple other airworthiness regulators, FAA, Transport Canada, etc. We perform component maintenance and line maintenance across several locations between the UK and Germany, and the business was incorporated back in 2012. So we're still a young business, but done a lot in that time.
Yeah. So what's that? 11 years.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, and tell me about your journey, I guess, with the business. Have you been there the entire time?
Not the entire time, no. It was successfully scaled as a smaller business. Got its accreditations. Before Brexit it was EASA, UKCAA. Another story altogether, I'm sure we'll come on to. But
yeah, we can talk about Brexit and what that's done for aviation.
But yeah, the original founder Robert and obviously Richard Weir, who's now our accountable manager, initially helped scale that small business up, and then I met with them back in 2017 to come in and really focus immediately growing on the line maintenance side of the business, which it didn't really have at that time. To help scale. And
now it's pretty big. So
yeah,
job well done.
So yeah, I suppose just over 2 years ago, the business was actually acquired 100% by Aero out of the United States.
Okay, that's very good.
So that was a big milestone in the company's progression and expansion and help with investment towards other projects, and so that's where we've sort of been in that time. So yeah, 2017 I joined, and we successfully have grown that. We're still headquartered out of Manchester, just by Manchester Airport. And we have 8 line maintenance locations now as BOSA and 2 component repair locations between Manchester and Germany.
Okay, so 8 line maintenance locations.
Yeah.
That's really good. And so would you say, are you kind of all booked up? What are you doing
so
at the moment? Are you trying to deliver operationally, or are you sell? What kind of mode are you in?
We're in definitely a sell. Obviously, we're up against competition in that. It's fierce competition. You can't hide that. And we win work when we do on our own merits. A lot of hard work goes into proposals and building relationships with airlines. And part of that investment from Aero, who are an IATP member as well. We now are able to attend that conference where we're meeting the key decision makers in the line maintenance area twice a year. So
they've kind of opened up a couple doors for you, and the only way is up.
Yeah, exactly, and that shows the commitment. That's taking that next step as from a small business,
like an
MRO.
SME to grow and scale and to get your name out there. Like I've known. So I spoke. I think I spoke with Richard Weir probably 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah, he did say, because he knows I'm going to be doing this, and he did say hello to you,
and that was So I've been in the industry for almost 10 years now, and I remember speaking to him about BOSA and all of the stuff that he was doing, and he had a real vision for what the business could be at that time, and that was years and years ago. So now it's kind of, I guess, all come back round into my field of vision. It's really nice to see how far the business has come.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's line maintenance, aircraft maintenance with the this high levels of regulatory compliance on a daily, weekly, year-round basis that we have to meet. And a lot of people that fly on these planes they don't even have a clue of what's going on in the background that make these things fly in the air. And and it's not just us, all of our colleagues across all the different companies globally have to meet this, and ultimately it's safety for the end consumer or the box you put on an aircraft.
Absolutely, and having that reputation for, you know, delivering absolute quality and, you know, delivering safety is reassuring for the airlines. So I wouldn't necessarily say in aircraft maintenance it's a race to the bottom, especially not at the moment, because there's so much demand for travel that actually how you can, I guess, differentiate yourself in the market is by doing exactly what you guys are doing and building a strong reputation for good quality business, not necessarily, you know, we'll try and do it as cheap as chips for you, Mr. Airline. Yep. So I think that really does speak volumes sometimes.
Yeah, we're not afraid to walk away from opportunities that don't make sense for the business. You know, if they're lost leads, you know, we're trying to consolidate, be agile, nimble in the locations we have, unless it makes complete business sense to open a new location or, you know, we're seeing a lot of, you know, the bilateral agreements between us and FEAM in the US customers that, you know,
they want something,
particularly like say Asian customers, or we're leveraging those relationships now because the network's grown into the UK and European continent, shall we say.
That's very exciting. It's very, very cool when businesses get, a couple of my clients over the years have been acquired by big American businesses, and it does open up a lot more opportunity for them as a business that they wouldn't necessarily have had access to without that investment. So
no, it's all I can, you know, FEAM acquired us, and we had some key projects and commitments we made with them on the component side. So Leipzig, for instance, at the European DHL hub is our, you know, second component repair location.
Okay. So DHL.
The Leipzig airport is the DHL hub for Europe. So we're based just off the airport in, say, an industrial area.
Oh, okay.
So we've made a big commitment to that facility around oxygen refill and overhaul, and filter cleaning and some other product lines, but it's predominantly, you know, breathing oxygen refill or overhaul. And we actually moved the facility about a year ago and had to get that accredited by the US DOT for hydrostatic testing. So there's a lot of investment in equipment, training, accreditation.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a big focus from one of my team on that as a facility at the moment.
Well, from my experience, because I at the beginning of the year spent some time in Miami to expand our recruitment offering into US markets, and so we now do Europe and we do USA, and we've got a bit of a hub in Miami, and it's opened my eyes to how much more business there is out there. And so I guess you guys are now, since the acquisition, really getting excited about how fast you can grow and the customers you can capture. Yep.
So, you know, we're key accounts, shall we say, we're over 100 customers combined in the group now, you know, major airlines, you know, legacy carriers.
That's very good going.
On the component side, you know, we have some of those airlines, but we also trade with parts trading companies, power by the hour businesses, things like that. So, you know, you're talking around probably 200 accounts in the group easily that we're trading with on an annual basis. The network for line maintenance is now at 55 locations across the US and Europe. So, you know, we're one of the biggest networked line maintenance providers.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is. And there's a lot of hard work. You know, I can sit here. It's easy for me to sit here with you and shout and look great. But, you know, it really is a credit to, you know, our team behind the scenes, our maintenance management teams, our quality departments, that, you know, some of these things have to be worked tirelessly with regulators through weekends, out of hours to achieve this for customers. So,
and you must be really grateful for your team, just to be, you mentioned it in the pre-show chat. What do you think as a business leader, you know, running something like that, what do you think makes for a good team, and how do you nurture that team?
So after the acquisition, and, you know, we had a bit of a reshuffle, and you know, how we approach stuff, and some of that was, you know, how FEAM approached it, so their methodologies and way they works, you know, rubbed our way a little, and vice versa. You know, retention, you know, we're going to move on a little bit to staff now, shall we say, and retention's a big thing for us. And, you know, in the last year and a half, there's been massive shift in the labour market. You know, sure, you know.
Absolutely, I'm very, very aware.
Exactly, it's a specialist field for you. So when we open, for instance, London Gatwick and Dublin line stations in parallel last year, it was part of our strategy that we wanted to retention, because they were key locations and we need a certain amount of staff to operate those locations 24/7 across with major customers. And we've had to improve benefits, salaries, it's not just on line maintenance, it's across the entire business. So, and because there's a shortage, for argument, just for the argument, on the US side, FEAM have made a huge commitment as the business to open in a joint venture with Epic Flight Academy in Cincinnati, one of our main locations, a engineer or mechanic training school over there, to invest in this next crop for the future. And it's a feeder right next door to the facilities we have there, the hangars.
Well, that definitely makes sense, and I think as an industry we all need to be doing more to get people into the sector. So some figures by Boeing, they've estimated we need another 700,000 aircraft engineers in the next 10 or 20 years. And that is as many as we have in the world today. So we've got to find double.
Yeah.
And as working in that end of the market, we do aerospace recruitment, and we, like a B1 is like gold dust. We get really excited if we find a B1 that's looking for a new role. We probably have 18 clients we could send them to, more than that, just because you can pick up a brand new client with a B1 engineer.
Yeah.
Just because you have that candidate, and it just goes to show how much of a shortage of qualified people there are in the market. And if we're not getting people qualified, because it takes time to learn about aircraft engineering, believe it or not, if we're not feeding those people into the market, then as an industry, what are we doing to shorten the skills gap?
Yeah, so last year it was a project of mine with the senior leadership team in BOSA. We're actually now allowed to sponsor visas, right?
Oh, amazing.
In the UK, because licensed engineers come up as one of the shortage
we
skills.
should have a talk about recruitment after this.
Yeah, another
absolutely shameless.
We had to think outside the box. Yeah, Brexit happened, and shortage of engineers, and the licenses. We've got UKCA Part 66 now and EASA Part 66.
Yeah,
a lot of our engineers,
stressful.
Yeah, a lot of our engineers are dual licensed, shall we say, UK and EASA. Some are just UK, so there's a lot of planning at times for our UKCA approval. Has our bilateral agreements with the FAA and Transport Canada. So if we're to use those approvals on UK soil, there must be a UK Part 66 engineer.
Okay, so and this is for my own learning. So because of Brexit, the CAA, if you're CAA qualified, you're also FAA qualified? Or
it depends if you hold that approval. So you can choose if you got an FAA custom, airline, should we say.
Sounds like a lot of paperwork.
It is, and you have to maintain this, and every 2 years you have to renew your FAA approval. So basically the oversight for our FAA approval is done by the UKCA under a bilateral. The same for our Canadian approval.
Okay.
So yeah, a lot of headaches in that, and that adds to the planning process should you pick up a US customer or a Canadian customer, because there's extra legwork to do.
Yeah, I imagine. There's regulation that comes out your ears, really. But what's nice, and the CAA, they're dealing with Brexit as best they can. But what I love about the aviation industry is whichever continent you work on, safety is key. Safety's key, and then also it's such a privilege to be part of an industry that allows you to travel.
Yep.
Like, you go to all the shows as well.
Yep.
I imagine you're probably bored of travelling. But I'm certainly not. Was it the aspect of travel? What made you get involved in aviation in the first place? So
I actually started 2006, left high school, done my exams, and I was always, I tolerated school, shall we say.
Okay,
it
so
was never
for you. Yeah.
I'm more of a hands-on. I want to get going. And,
yeah.
My dad said to me, got you a job down the hangar, and literally just started sweeping the hangar, general hand roll,
Literally sweeping the hangar floor.
Yeah, and then
Amazing.
painting or fueling tugs, just general hand basically. And then stores people were going sick, and I was drafted to stores to help. And then it went from there into purchasing, supply chain,
to the other.
up to sales, BD, contracting, traveling through different areas.
You've literally just worked your way up through all of the jobs then?
Yeah, and that experience coming from that hangar floor through departments, and I've seen a bit of every department, worked through every department, and that helps me.
Helps you in a leadership position now with the empathy, like what it's like.
Yeah, some things you said, oh, I'll do it this way. Well, you can speak from experience and pass your learning, what you've learned, down to people, or across to people, or even up to people. There's people above me that might not know, but we've got someone that does know. Subject matter experts in the business, and that's something we're using in the company. I'm not a licensed engineer. I know the regulation and what I need to know, but we have to rely.
You might know more than some of the licensed engineers now.
I'm not sure about that, but
I definitely think there's something to experience. Like, we see it in recruitment all the time. Somebody can come with all of the bells and whistles under the sun, and actually somebody with a good solid chunk of experience in a good solid organisation will trump them every single time because of that knowledge they gain through their experience. So
and
I definitely would be super kind to yourself when thinking about that.
No, it's difficult. We're still we're still coming back post pandemic as well, and it literally is. We're just on a complete steep trajectory at the moment. As an industry, it's not just us as a business, and all of our friends in the business.
It's crazy, isn't it? So we've gone from zero, which it's just gone whoop, whoop. And for me in recruitment, I went from it's going okay, me not having a business. Nobody recruits anybody when there's no planes in the sky. And then the industry, I think it made 40% of the workforce redundant.
Yeah.
And then now it's like we need that 40% back and then some.
No, and a lot of those, COVID drove those early retirement packages from legacy carriers and companies, and then we're seeing natural retirement now. So
you and I have a lot of work to do.
Everyone, we're all in it together. When we go to these shows, we're standing next to everyone that's got to make a difference, and it's not easy because of the tape we have to. That's in there, the regulatory tape, and how long it takes. It's 4 or 5 years to bring an engineer from start to license. It's a significant journey. It's not like some industries, it's a 2-month course and you're there. It's, we got to plant seeds now, and that's why FEAM, are making that huge investment at the Cincinnati location. And
you mentioned in the pre-show chat there's an aircraft hangar that's coming.
Yeah,
or
it's
now booked up.
it just shows the significant investment once again that's going on. It's another huge subject that's not really in my remit as such, but we pay close attention to it because we got our European customers maybe looking for solutions while they're flying within the US for hangar maintenance or drop-in maintenance, engine changes. So 2.5 years ago, we opened the first FEAM purpose-built hangar for a 747-8, a wide-body hangar.
Okay. Yep.
And then the demand as soon as that was sold, it was pretty much sold out before we purchased it due to our customers
saying yes, we need it.
Yeah, it was built. And
that's a great position to be in, isn't it?
It's my colleagues.
I would love to sell out of.
Well, we've got 350 staff in Cincinnati. It's a huge location. We're looking to recruit 150, 200 more to this second hangar that's got announced, around a year ago. Another $40 million investment to the industry. There's a hangarage shortage. Obviously, the main carriers, the legacy carriers, got their own in-house hangarage, but airlines that don't want to carry that in-house and have their own technician or technical department, we're picking up a lot of that. And
I think as well, like, airlines have a lot to do. They've got sustainability things that they've got to look at. There's a shift in trends. There's so much, and so to be able to outsource a lot of their maintenance is kind of where I think airline. Well, I don't know. You tell me. You're probably much more of an expert.
We see in the US. That's why we're a little. The models are slightly different. So by continent, Asia, Europe, the US, South America, they'll all be different in the way they do it. So I learn a lot from the US side on how they do it. Like my colleagues there learn how we're doing it in Europe. Hence the acquisition and learn and
you can
grow.
take the best bits of each and make it.
Yeah, we see more in the US that they the model is different, but the business in the US theme started 30 years ago with two men in a truck in Los Angeles, and that's where it came from, and that's
very cool.
The same family still privately own us today, 30 years on. So.
And so you were saying you're the largest privately owned.
I'd definitely put us. Yeah, I'm not going to 100% confirm, but we'll look back on that. But yeah, we're definitely up there, and there was a consistent reinvestment from the ownership, and they're great people. The son of the owners is our president, Cam Murphy. So
amazing.
He's a great person to work for, and ambitious, all about technology and how we can
use that to improve things.
You were mentioning earlier about all this AI, and he him as an individual, he's thinking about all that for the future.
Well, there's definitely AI and technology is definitely coming for all of us, not just in aerospace, but AI is going to completely change the way that we live. And maybe not. I might be wrong, but somebody quite prominent in my career said to me, AI is, or like the discovery and the creation of AI is as significant as when they invented the internet. Like it's that profound because of what it can do now. And I don't know, have you used many AI techie stuff?
Not too much. It's like it's like thinking out in the universe, and how far does it go? It's like it's another one of those, and I'm sure like you, we remember dial-up internet and how amazing that was, and you can't phone the house when you're on the internet and things. It was just significant, but only.
So bringing it back to aviation, obviously you've made a real good name for yourself. I should use proper English. You've made a really good name for yourself in BOSA and the company you're in at the moment, and building for the future is probably quite exciting for you in your career, especially within FEAM and all of that whole network now. What are you most excited about over the next couple of years? I know, what a question.
I know what's in my head, and I know some of it's obviously confidential that we're working on, but we're trying to, because we have a sister company in Europe called Northern Aerotech as well, which was acquired 6 months after BOSA by FEAM as well. Okay, so they're a 100% owned subsidiary of FEAM, just like BOSA. So they pretty much are mainland Europe, BOSA's UK and Ireland. So there's
some exciting things in the pipeline.
Yeah, and their models different again, but it's about coming together. We're looking at synergies, sharing of engineering resources, cover more. How can we, leverage existing customer relationships from both European entities, vice versa. We've put a lot of investment in recently to adding new generation aircraft like A220. We now support that aircraft type with A350. Okay. So there's a lot of, and these things cost thousands. You got to buy the tooling, train the engineers. We've just had engineers finish A350 training. So we have to maintain all of these levels, tight ratings, and then they have to get it endorsed, and
and you got to get your customers.
You have to invest before. You can't win work, and then there's,
they can't. The airlines aren't going to pay you.
Well, they can't afford to wait. That's what it is. So we want to start in 7 weeks, or maybe even 4 weeks. A new route to X location. Can you support? Well, we're going to need 3 months to do training and this. So we're trying to get ahead a little bit. So we've already got the approvals, and then there might be a few extra seats of training we need to top up with. So we're trying to give reassurance to the airlines that we have people ready, and then we can scale if required.
It really is spinning plates, and doing all of that work before, knowing that the business is there, because there absolutely is the business there for it. It's a big undertaking.
We're seeing a lot of for like London Gatwick, for argument's sake, there's a lot of airlines looking to transition certain routes out, out of Heathrow into Gatwick. for better slots, or they want to come to London but they can't get into Heathrow, so they're being pushed to Gatwick or Stansted. So we're seeing a lot of additional services being added just to get into London. So we're trying to make ourselves ready for that, and we are ready. In fact, at that location, it's the same on all. We're trying to look at synergies, and there's a lot of this summer just gone, the ACMI level just at London Gatwick through several airlines flying for the likes of BA, TUI, for extra capacity outside their usual. So it was incredible. And there's plenty to go around, and it's such a
booming time for the industry at the moment. And I don't know if we've all just been starved by COVID, or whether it was ever, I don't know, this busy. But I sat in an airport the other day, and every single seat was taken, and people were sat on the floor. And I was just thinking, I haven't seen an airport like this in years.
No, and you have to remember, like, you go to Gatwick and Emirates have put in a 380 in there. It's got 400 odd people in the departure lounge waiting to, amongst all the other flights. And airports are trying to do expansion, but it takes time and multiple years and layers of tape to get through just to expand. And sometimes I think the UK we should be quicker at it.
And I think we can probably, as an industry, be a lot more agile. There's so many things to think about, and staffing's obviously one of them, and that's my bag. And then maintenance is this whole other. Then you've got the airports and how the whole ecosystem of businesses within the travel industry work together. It really does blow my mind sometimes how how they're all interconnected, and actually by working together is really only going to be the way we're going to meet the challenges that the aircraft industry faces.
Yeah, I think I saw something the other day, like UK's got the most airports as a country in Europe. Got like 138 airports. The next one was like 90. So we're a high compacted amount of airports.
Do you know what? Southampton's a bit like that. This has just popped into my head, but apparently Southampton has the most traffic lights per square foot than any other city in Europe. So maybe
that's why we can't get out.
Maybe there's a theme. Yeah, maybe there's a theme. That's a really interesting fact. Actually, we've got the most airports.
It's I'm sure like everyone else that people are going to watch this. You trawl LinkedIn, you come across these facts that people post, or industry experts, or someone that knows that area.
Anyone listening in the comments, any cool aviation facts, we'd love to hear them. So let us know if you know any cool facts.
So whoever posted that, it's stuck in my head, and I've just used that fact. So.
I love a good bit of pub chat.
Yeah.
When someone says, "Oh, you work in aviation," I'm like, "Yeah, I've got some cool facts. Did you know this? Did you know?"
Well, you got to hope it pops up in the quiz.
Yeah, exactly. So. I think I'm very much a Bridget Jones when it comes to pub quizzes, because I'm convinced, absolutely convinced I've got the right answer, and I say it with such a determination, and then it turns out it's completely the wrong answer, and I've got my facts jumbled. So don't have me on your team in a pub quiz. So you, with what you're doing at BOSA, how many staff do you have? How is it kind of all structured?
So obviously the head office is at Manchester, and at the head office we have the main component repair location. So from that location is our quality department, well, shall I say compliance department, because it's all just about to change.
Compliance, quality, all of
safety
the people
management,
telling you what you can and can't do.
The core, should we say, the core is sort of hubbed at the head office. The accountable manager, workshops manager, or shall I say component repair manager, operations manager, our front office for the component side, our sales and account manager for the component side, who works with me, and then got some stores people and things, and then from there we go out to the line stations and obviously the other component repair location over in Germany. And there's been a lot of focus on training and recruitment there as well. It's just on the component side. There's recruitment like there is on the line side. Finding the right people to either bring on and nurture, getting the 2 years experience on product lines before they can be given, airworthiness release authorization to issue certification. So we've got head office. There's probably about 25 people there off the top of my head. And then the other, should we say, 45, 50 are out in the network.
Okay.
So between the three entities, should we say, FEAM, BOSA and NAT, I think we're just over 1,500 staff as a group. Obviously, that's...
So that really does expand the manpower, since obviously the acquisition.
Yeah,
definitely.
And we still want to grow that component maintenance operation. It's definitely there, but we've done a bit of consolidation lately as well. So we're focusing on just these product lines, not onesie twosies on other things, because you have to maintain maintenance data, spares, training for the staff. So we're trying to be more compact and consolidated, focus on what we're good at.
Yeah,
so that's
absolutely.
the same as with our line maintenance locations as well. We're trying to really just maximise our business at those locations.
And so where you're at the moment as a business, because we do have some airlines that follow this channel.
Yeah.
If you could pick a bit of business that you'd like for one of your locations, what would that bit of business be at the moment? All of it. We'll have all the business, but
yeah. It's a bit, we've got commercial sensitivity. If I was to mention it, we got a lot of irons in the fire and things that are, hopefully going to come off in the next couple months. We got bids in at the moment, waiting on.
So that's quite exciting. Like me, I'm from a sales background, and I just love the excitement and the buzz of that. Are you similar or?
No, I do, but at the same time, you win some, you lose some, and there's some, and that's the way it is. But one thing we are keen on is why didn't we get it? Trying to get that feedback to let the team know instead of me just going, no, we didn't get it. Is it next time we need to show more engineering? So the ownership want to hear that feedback as well. If we're to change anything or have to invest more or better position ourselves.
I think that's such a good thing to just in business to have, like that feedback loop as much as possible. And if you don't have it and it's just there's a disconnect in recruitment, we try and get as much feedback as possible for the individuals that want to work for businesses. But that feedback loop really, really helps. Like we had a candidate as an example that everything was good, but actually they weren't particularly good at explaining how and why they were really great. Like they were amazing when they talked about a product, but talking about themselves, they were a completely different person. And so we worked with them and gave them really bluntly the feedback of what the hiring team said. And the candidate was like, no one's ever told me that before, thank you so much. And the next interview, they nailed it and got the job. So it really, and this is a very small example, but feedback loops for anyone in business, I would say, like create as many of them as possible because it just makes you better.
Yeah, when we have job applications, we try and be as hot as we can on getting a response to an applicant. It might be a no straight away because they have not got what we need, but getting a response. Yes, it's a yes now, but we need to review further. Or it's a no. Unfortunately, not this time, or we'll keep you on record for the future. But getting no feedback, we don't want to have these are parts of the things we're focusing on to have a good name and we care and people do, like you say, you need feedback.
Oh, absolutely. Corporate branding, like employer branding, is so important. And we find it really frustrating as recruiters, if we've got a client that ghosts their candidates, it then becomes difficult over time to convince those candidates to go and apply for jobs. We've actually got, or we don't work with them anymore, but historically we had a client who had a reputation for being quite mean to their staff, and it really damages your employer brand, and people don't really think about what candidates in the marketplace before that application stage, what's happening or what people are saying. So we as a recruitment business really can help to improve that employer brand by singing the good things about and sorry, I'm getting my words mixed up, but what we like to do as a business, we don't work with that business I was just talking about anymore, because we started to hear things. And
Yeah.
we as a business won't work with a business that wouldn't work for ourselves.
Yeah.
And so when we are, singing about businesses and bolstering up their employer brand, companies don't necessarily realise that there's the branding for your customers, but actually there's the branding for your staff,
Yeah.
your team, and then the future employees in the business.
Yeah, we have permanent staff, and we also have some key contract staff as well. That we have some very, loyal contract staff. And businesses in all sectors have to rely on that to infill or seasonal, and they're part of our team as well. There might be a temp member of staff, as we call it, or a contractor, but everyone's contribution makes that business have the success. And some businesses, it's like, oh, we only do this for the permanence. It's like everyone's a key member of the organisation. We didn't have them at a line station, we wouldn't be turning aircraft or supporting our customers. So our focus towards, a place you want to go to work. There is a bit of banter, there's a team ethic and having a laugh, not having it just serious, everyone just stare at their screen every day. It's interaction, integration.
Yeah, creating an environment where people actually want to go.
Yeah,
is definitely a big thing.
And believing in people. Some people aren't, a bit more shy, and but you can clearly see that they offer something, and how can they progress in the business. And we've, like I said, a lot of towards the training for engineers and in the component shops. Retention's big for us, and I think what we bring is we're not trying to grow too fast. We're not scared to say no. So focus on what we have, unless it makes absolute business sense to go and do. But our team, our people, and theme Northern Aerotech is our people that do it for us, isn't it, and deliver and make us a successful market-leading business in our sector.
Yeah, you've definitely got a really good brand out there, and I'm excited to see what you guys do next. So, thank you so much for coming in, for chatting to me.
Yeah.
And, I look forward to catching up with you soon.
No, I appreciate you having me on, and, see if we can do it again in the future after next steps.
Amazing. Thanks so much.
Thank you.